Okay, so we already made our top 5 Sundance picks of the whole festival. You can go check out that video if you haven't already, but we're going to discuss Magazine Dreams today, which was our number 2 movie of the whole festival. And this one is definitely going to be one that's going to have a lot of people talking about it if it can find a buyer, which I have no idea why it has not been bought yet. I think Jonathan Majors puts a amazing performance, and I think this one is going to be one that's going to be talked about when it comes to award season. So before we get any further into the review, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Make sure that you are also checking out our Indiegogo. We are still trying to find our horror film, but let's talk about Magazine Dreams, or thoughts and opinions on it. So let's get right into it. So this was a movie we wanted to check out in person, but through all of the mishaps that happened to us at Sundance, which we'll talk about in another video where we're going to talk about our whole recap of Sundance, and get you prepared if you ever go to Sundance as well. We missed the world premiere that was going to happen at the Echoes Theater. Then we tried watching it online, and we had a little mishaps there, but we finally got a chance to see it this past weekend, which was a week after when we wanted to watch it, and I enjoyed it very much. I thought it was one of those movies that is definitely going to be one that's going to be talked about. It gave me vibes of Nightcrawler, Taxi Driver, Joker, much so a character study than anything. So plot and everything, I don't really care about it when it comes to movies like that. I just want something where I'm going to see this character go through some stuff and evolve. And that's what we see here. We see this character go through so much, and we see him become a whole different person by the end of it, in a way, which I don't want to give spoilers, but in a way. This movie follows Killian Maddox, who is played by Jonathan Majors, who is wanting and obsessing over becoming a bodybuilder that is going to be on Magazine Dreams, and become world famous. At the same time, he has an obsession with another bodybuilder that he writes to all the time throughout the movie, and wants him to write back to him at some point. And we see that he's also taking care of his grandfather as well, who is much older. And we find out that his parents aren't in the picture, which I don't want to talk about here because I don't want to give spoilers, like I said. But there's a reason they're not in the picture. And I think that this is a very well done film. I think it does have beautiful cinematography. It has an amazing performance, like I said, not only by Jonathan Majors, but also all of the other actors involved in this. And I think all of them do this very good portrayal of these very broken people. Jonathan Majors, like I said, is our main star. Our eyes are always on him, and I think he does such an incredible job at giving a very complex character the shine it needs to have. Because you have this character of Killian Maddox, who you feel so bad for at points, but at the same time you have this sort of fear for him about what's coming next from him, and you have this unpredictability to him that is so well done here, because you think you know what's coming, and then he pulls something else on you, and it just takes you by surprise. I think all of this combined with the great cinematography here as well, and the direction, is what makes this movie so much more heightened, as well as the soundtrack that it has, that is just so eerie, and it like creeps up on you as you're seeing these images happen, and this sound starts to creep up on you, which I think is one of the best parts about the movie, in my opinion. Overall, the story, like I said, it goes to those dark places, and it doesn't leave. It just keeps getting darker and darker, and I think that might be a whole thing, that why this movie might be something that people might be thinking about whether it works or not, because it doesn't like get shy about going into these very sort of like bleak sort of storylines, and I think that's something that's going to be a little bit hard for some people to take in. I think that some people also didn't like from this movie is how it sort of feels like it's sort of touching these taboo subjects very lightly and juggling between them back and forth, but I think it does show in a way the way that Killian Maddox sort of thinks, and the way that he is as well. So it sort of works in my like way I view this movie, because like I said, I don't really go into this movie watching it for a plot or to see where the story progresses. I'm seeing where Killian Maddox himself is going, and at times I think that that can sort of be detrimental to the film in itself, where all of the other characters sort of feel like they're just like stock characters, like they are not really fleshed out. But at the end of the day, like I said, go into this knowing it's a character study, so nobody's going to be fleshed out as much as Killian is. And this movie does take it to a little bit more of an extreme, where no character at all has sort of a story behind them. They're just there sort of like propping his character up, which I always knew was going to be the case, so I'm okay with that. And if you go into this movie knowing that this is the main focus you're going to have, I think you'll be okay as well. Overall, like I said, I did enjoy this movie a lot. It was my number 2 for Sundance. I did have one minor minor gripe with it, which is with a lot of Sundance movies, is that I feel like the ending, it very much so kept lingering. I think that there were certain points, about 2 points in this movie, that it could have ended and we could have cut 15 to 20 minutes of the movie. And I think it would have been just perfect at that runtime. I think movies try to go for those 2 hours for some reason. It feels like that's like the golden number right there. But I think, and honestly, my opinion, 1 hour and 35 to an hour and 45 is golden. You can have a perfect movie. I've seen some perfect movies at that runtime. So that was my only gripe with the movie. I felt it lingered a little bit too much on that ending, and it gave us like about one or two false endings where you're just like, okay, that's it. That was good. And it's like, oh, here we go. We're still going. And, I hate when movies do that, but that was my only gripe with it. Overall, I did enjoy this movie. Like I said, Jonathan Majors puts on an amazing performance, great cinematography. The soundtrack is incredible here. Direction-wise, it is flawless. And I cannot wait to see what comes from this movie whenever it does get bought and gets distributed. I'm excited to see what the conversation will be online and everywhere else, because this does tackle a lot of very touchy subjects that I think do need to be touched upon, especially nowadays. So I do hope that we do get some distribution for this pretty soon, so more people can see this masterpiece, in my opinion. And I think Jonathan Majors will definitely be in that award contender talk once this movie is fully released. So we'll see what happens. But overall, like I said, I enjoyed it. It is definitely one to go into knowing that this is a character study. Plot and all the other characters are going to be pushed aside just for the main character, and that's fine in my opinion. But let me know your thoughts and your opinions on Magazine Dreams. If you've seen them already, make sure that you are subscribed as well if you haven't, and make sure you hit that notification. We do have reviews on all of the movies we watched from Sundance coming out this week, which was about 17. So expect 2 to 3 reviews a day in order to get all of those out by this week, so we can be complete with this Sundance 2023 chapter. And I will be making a video on my experience at Sundance, so you know what you're getting into if you decide to go next year, which we're hoping to do as well, and all the years to come. So very excited to do that video and talk more about all of that. But as always, that is going to do it for me. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We are on the road to 30,000 subscribers. If you haven't checked out our Indiegogo, go check it out right now. We're trying to fund our Indiegogo indie slasher horror film. We have a couple of hours left now, so really would appreciate any help we can get, so go check that out down below. But as always, that is going to do it for me. Make sure you tune into our lives. We have more talks about Infinity Pool coming out, and as always, stay safe, stay positive.